My name is Gustav. I'm a social entrepreneur from Latvia, and I'm mainly working in a youth sphere where we are making an online platform for youth opportunities to showcase and to enable young people to utilize their full potential. But mainly, I want to start by talking about like what exactly is youth. And I strongly believe that youth isn't an age group. It's much more of a moment in life where you are in an exploration. When you're not living with your parents anymore, or at least they're not dictating every single move that you make in your day-to-day life. And also when you haven't set your clear, precise path in the future. When you're still thinking about what's going to happen, how is it going to be. So it's when you're searching for your own path, but you're not on it just yet. And why do I want to say it? Because it ties directly to the resilience. Because young people are the ones who are testing out things the most. So the question is youth the most resilient group of them all? And I would want to answer yes, but honestly, it's yes and no. And why? Because, well, yes, because they're practicing it the most. They are the ones who have the first breakups, first job interviews, first some kind of unsuccessful relationships or problems living on their own, many things that they try from the start, and that builds resilience in them because they have no other choice just to do that. And second of all, I would say no, because, well, they don't have the experience in being resilient yet. They haven't been kicked down by the merciless life yet. They're still young, they're still naive, so they're going for it. So I would say that resilience is two type of things. First of all, it's ability to stand up after fall. And when it's your planned fall, when you think, oh, I'm going to go in a relationship and it's going to end, that's fine. It fails, you learn, you try again, you stand up. So that's one type of resilience. But second type of resilience, which is much harder to prepare yourself for, is when something unexpected happens. For instance, when your father dies, like, you cannot be prepared for it. You need to adapt to the circumstances that you do not control, and you need to live your life. And that's much, much harder. But the good thing is that this resilience, where you need to be able to stand up after fall, which is planned, more or less, is also building up for your resilience so you can live the unimaginable. And talking about youth resilience, I think I want to show two pictures. So we imagine it being like this, young kids learning to walk, falling, getting up, falling, getting up. And we think it's, nice, neat process where people learn these things. But actually, I think that youth resilience is much more like this. That you are going down the mountain really quickly without the ability to know, what's coming next. And you're just trying somehow sporadically to get up before falling again, which eventually will happen. And the question is, so how can we help to young people to build this resilience, and how can we support them? First of all, it's good to have a safe space for them to fail and explore the solutions. Because honestly, it's about experimentation, and it's about reducing the fear of falling and failing. Because if you fail more, you learn more, you get more resilient. Uh, Third, you prepare them in advance, and you prepare them with the knowledge and skills that are needed to become more resilient, both in the specific action that they're undertaking, so you prepare them, and also just in general, how to cope with failure, how to cope with various problems that are going to come. And all in all, it's about providing safe space to experiment and teaching skills. And jumping slightly to my own life, I'm a social entrepreneur, which is working with youth, and I would want to say that I started All Opportunities Social Enterprise because I was certain that I want to help young people to cope with failure and be more resilient. But actually, that's not true. For me, it was also the path just forward with a lot of misunderstandings and just risk taking. I was 22 and I was in Latvia, and I was just thinking, well, I can either go working. I hadn't sent out my CV yet, as young people do. Um, but I can actually also try to do my own business, which was like an event recommendation platform. And the idea was, well, I'm going to make my business for like 3-4 months. I'm going to go bankrupt, and then I'm going to find a job. So essentially, I was in a place where I had no fear of failing and I had a safe space to fail because, I'm going to bounce back quickly. Uh, and similarly, it is for, I think, most of the entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs in particular. Um, when I was in university, once we had an exercise with our professor who said, "How would you rate your future profession in how fail-proof it is?" And I said, "Well, I'm planning to be an entrepreneur." He was like, "Okay, here it's unsafe, unclear what's going to happen, and here it's really clear that in the future you're going to have a job. Where would you rate it?" And so he slowly goes from the unsafe space. He slowly goes there, and I'm not saying stop. I'm waiting, 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 and he sees my face. He goes here. I'm like, yeah, that's where I think I am. Stop. And he asked me, why do I think that being an entrepreneur and social entrepreneur is essentially, a safe profession? And it's exactly because it builds one thing, which is ability to learn, experiment, and be resilient. Which means that whatever the circumstance happens, whatever happens with the AI or with the future or security, always entrepreneurs will find opportunities to grow further. Back to the youth. Um, so how to build this resilience in youth? By providing this safe place to experiment and also to teach them valuable skills. And that's what we're trying to do with my social enterprise, All Opportunities, in which we showcase in an online platform various youth opportunities and career opportunities. And we're also creating various events and trainings for youth. So this is the online platform. You can see how it would look. And there are a couple of events that we have organized. One has been digital marketing training for skills. Then there has been youth dialogue with European Commission, job speed dating events for companies meet 20 young people for 5-minute interviews, now in an online format. So, and around 30 more different events and projects. And the idea is, yeah, to provide various skills and to give safe playground for youth to test their qualities at. And all in all, our company tries to be in between young people, youth organizations, and companies. We kind of try to be the bridge in between them. And our goal is to enable every young person to utilize their full potential and to do that by bringing together young people, employers, youth organizations in a safe space and to open up a dialogue amongst these groups, amongst these stakeholders. And now we have more than 6,000 young people in our database. We have trained more than 500 people. We have more than 15,000 monthly visitors. More than 120 youth organizations have joined us, and more than 100 employers have cooperated with us, including the largest ones. And that's exactly our business model. So essentially what we do as a social enterprise, because social enterprises need a business model. We had a couple of talks in a break about this. So companies pay to receive better young people, hopefully more resilient young people. And they pay to us so that we do the recruitment and so that we do the employer branding, which essentially just showcases them in a good light towards youth, that they're a good place to work. So that's what we focus on. And then second thing, which also is really fun for us, we get various type of funding to experiment new approaches in youth unemployment and to get better and to also provide new methods on working. And one of these opportunities for funding came actually just when the COVID kicked in. There was an interesting moment, everyone was sad and it was autumn, no motivation around, and COVID was in its peak, and it was just bad. But in every problem there is also an opportunity. And with COVID-19, we saw that actually people are seeing the remote work as a new normal and they're embracing it. But there is one tiny problem, which is that the ones embracing it are the ones who already have a job, who are already in good position, and the people who are in less opportunity kind of space, they are the ones who are actually left behind. So we wrote a project and we got it approved, which is Go Remote, which is about it's pilot project for youth working remotely in rural areas. So exactly young people, exactly those with less opportunities working remotely or in a hybrid job. And in hybrid job, it means that you can be like 27-year-old from a tiny city, and you need to go to the big city only once a month, for instance. So that's kind of goal of this project. And the focus is exactly on less developed areas, people with the demographical, social, and economic obstacles. So people who need it. We want to train 200 people, employ at least 140, not for us, but for others, and involve more than 2,500 people in general. And to do this, we actually have an interesting process. We start by researching what exactly is needed. What do these need people, so not in employment, education, or training, what do they need? Then we do the online conference to attract attention. We do the skill training in 3 sectors. Now we are actually, like this week, all of them are happening. So one is in digital marketing, in data input, and in customer support. And then in January, we're going to have job speed dating events exactly for those young people in remote and hybrid, for remote and hybrid vacancies. And then next year, we take all the learnings and we try it again with already better result. And to even multiply this further and to help more, we have a website in which we showcase remote and hybrid job opportunities, especially those which are tailored towards junior positions and young people. And also there, we are having a kind of remote job Bible. We call it Knowledge Hub, where both employers and employees can find the guide on how to do remote jobs the best way possible. And then also in January, we're going to have mentors actually helping out both to the companies and consultants helping to the companies and mentors helping to the young people so they can actually flourish in these work relationships. So it's not annoying for either of the parties. So these are the pictures which are from our nationwide campaign. So in Latvia, we had even environmental ads, radio, etc. And I need to say, first of all, thanks to the EEA grant for sponsoring this, and also thanks to our partners from Cyprus, Croatia, Bulgaria, Finland, Iceland, and Norway. So because, well, this project is grand, and we plan to implement these changes not only in Latvia, but actually to spread it both to these countries, but also internationally, once we learn what exactly works to get young people from rural areas into hybrid and remote jobs. So we want to test it and then spread this knowledge. All in all, I want to say that, well, remote work, as with this project, it won't solve all of the problems. It's not a silver bullet, but a good thing is that at least for some people, it will enable them to have new skill sets, to get new professions, and so that these people become much more resilient in the future. So thank you all, and I wish you all a pleasant day.